Today on Tanaka Homestead, we are going to inoculate some fresh cut logs with mushroom spawn. The first thing we're going to do is set our logs up. So as you can see, we were able to get all of our logs stacked. We used some cinder blocks to do that. We were able to get this wood from a friend of ours, and you want to make sure you're only using hardwood. That's what they prefer when you're doing mushrooms or trying to grow mushrooms. The other thing is you want the wood to be pretty fresh. You want it to be cut within 6 weeks of use. So once it's cut, 6 weeks later, within that time frame is when you want to get your wood, which we did. So that's good. What they recommend as far as the place that we got our spawn plugs is 4 to 8 inch diameter pieces of wood. For each inch in diameter, that should be about, should correspond to the number of years that they'll produce. The problem with larger pieces of wood, as far as length and diameter, is that it will take longer for it to fruit. So this is what they recommend, and this is what we're gonna do, or at least give it a shot. We're gonna drill our holes with a 5/16 drill bit, and they recommend spacing each of the holes about 5 to 6 inches apart, and to do it in a diamond shaped pattern. So we already got the drill bit in, and we have it marked because they want you to drill the hole about 1 1/4 inch deep. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and hopefully this turns out okay. So we just got our first set of holes drilled, and I'm just gonna repeat the process on all the logs, and hopefully this does not take me all day. If you look close, so we drilled the holes, right? And then we thought it would be easier, instead of trying to find the holes at the very end, as we drill it, the other person was following behind and putting the plugs in. So you can see all the plugs, they're about 5 inches apart. We didn't, get a measuring stick and measure it, make sure it's perfect. But from what I gather, it's not the end of the world if it's a little bit less. But for the most part, I think the spacing's good. But it's real neat. We have it all here. So what we're going to end up doing now is we're going to get a rubber mallet, and we're going to hammer these in. You want it to be flush with the wood. And then once you do that, then we're going to melt some wax, but we're going to try and do this all at once. And then you paint a little bit of, we got beeswax, some organic beeswax, and then you paint a little over the plug. I want to point out, when you do this, our holes are about 1 1/4 inch deep. These are not going to fit flush all the way in the wood. At the bottom, there's going to be an air pocket, which is what you want. So we couldn't find a rubber mallet, but we did find a hammer, and we have a piece of wood, so we're going to use that. And what's going to happen is Joel is going to hammer them in, and as he hammers them in, I'm going to take a little bit of my beeswax, which this is hot water, and I was able to melt it in the microwave. Took a lot longer than I thought, but it's there. And then I'm going to go over the areas, the spawn plugs that he hammers in, because I think if we hammer them all, we're not going to really be able to see them because they're supposed to be flush with the tree. So yeah, let's go ahead and do it. finished applying the beeswax to all of the plug sites. So as you can see, all these areas that have white, that means we plugged them. We just gently hammered them in with a piece of wood, you know, because we couldn't find our mallet. And then once we had the plugs in there and they were flush, we applied the beeswax. These should start producing, I believe, in 9 months or so, maybe even sooner down here in Florida, because we're coming into rainy season. It gets hot and humid. So we'll just keep checking in periodically and see what happens. So thank you so much for watching our channel. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button, and happy mushroom harvesting.